Palace Hall today?
No, they're off.
Off day this week.
Boy, do you know?
Anything going on in town?
Nah.
No, they actually play this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't hear.
Really? What?
What do you have to do to get you guys back on track?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just finishing games. You know, really, I haven't been that displeased with how we've played. You know, certainly you go through a film and there's going to be tons of mistakes. That's how a coach goes through a film. But at the end of the day, you look at our 5 conference games, you know, we had a lead late in the second half in 4 of the 5 games. You know, the Wisconsin game was really the only game that got away from us early, and we never really made it. But, you know, you could look at the other 4 and say we could have won all 4 of those, and we just weren't able to close. And especially the other night, you know, have the ball with 10 seconds to go with a 1-point lead, we turn it over, we foul, end up losing a tough game in overtime. So just trying to keep their spirits up and also letting them know we're right there. You know, be kind of different if you were just getting blown out every night and you're scratching your head. It's more frustrating when you lose the way we're losing because you feel like you've been worthy of winning. But really hoping we can put 40 minutes together and find a way when we get in that situation again to close out a game, because confidence can change and momentum can shift, and we just need to try to find a way to get one and hopefully use that as momentum.
How do you make sure that frustration doesn't mount, it doesn't sort of spiral a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. The guys put a lot into it. You know, you go a couple weeks where you don't win a game, it can wear on everybody because we're so competitive and you all want to win. So you got to give and take some positive, but also the losing does have to sting, because if you get too numb to the losing, then that becomes the habit as well. So, you know, I think there's give and take with that. You know, I think our guys are frustrated with the position that we're in right now, but I still see a lot of fight. We're practicing well. Attitudes are good. You know, and a guy like Martinelli is not going to have it any other way. I mean, as a senior, he's gonna make sure he's doing his part as a leader. So, like I said, we got to, you know, turn the page, whatever adage you want to use from what happened last week with 2 tough road losses, and understand we have a great opportunity in front of us with Illinois, who's one of the best teams in the country.
How do you stymie their offense with your defense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you're going to completely stymie, but can you take away some of the things that they do the best? And this is a big physical team, a very skilled team. We know they're going to shoot a lot of threes, but you have got to limit them to one shot the best that you can. I mean, they are the best offensive rebounding team in our league. And if I'm looking at the box score Wednesday night and I see 20, 22, 24 offensive rebounds, yeah, that's not going to be good for the Cats. So, you know, we got to do the best we can to push guys off their spots. They have a lot of guys who can score. That's what makes them tough. It's not 1 or 2 guys. You know, they have 4 or 5 guys that can all get 20-plus in a game, and they play well off of each other. Their skill level is really high, and they're very physical. So we have a big task in front of us, and then we have to make them play defense. You know, if we're working hard on that end, we got to make sure that we're taking care of the ball and executing on the other end to get the best shots we can get.
Yeah, can you expand, like, what is the challenge that when there's so many guys who can score? You're just
Yeah.
group effort, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're one of the best teams in the country, you know, because you can do a good job on Wagler and then Boswell and Stojakovic go off. And then, you know, with Ivasic and Mirotic inside, you know, they can hit you from every position. And so it's got to be a collective effort. We got to be in our spots. We got to be physical. You know, we got to play really hard. Our rotations have to be good. And then when those shots go up, you know, hopefully they'll miss a few. When they miss them, we can't let them get those second chance opportunities.
There's a lot of positives you could say about Nick. What has it been like for you to have nation's leading scorer?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an honor to coach him for the last 4 years. I mean, to watch his progression, to have someone that every day comes in and just with that mindset of getting better, of working hard. I mean, I've had a lot of great players throughout my 13 years. He's certainly now in the group of those guys. You know, not sure anyone has worked any harder than he has, and he continues to add to his game. I mean, the way he's scoring this year is very different than a lot of the ways he scored last year, you know, when he led the conference in scoring. So he's a warrior. What's great about Nick is he's all about the team. You know, the points just end up happening because he throws himself into competition and winning. And just really proud and honored to have coached him, and sad that it's down to the last 15, 20 games, because it's been nice knowing that you got him by your side when you go into a big game.
Do you have to worry about him trying to do too much at all?
Yes and no. I think it means so much to him. We've got to continue to get help from other areas. We haven't shot the ball particularly well. I've tried not to harp on it too much. Our guys are really working. It's not for lack of effort, not for lack of reps and all these things, but it would certainly help him, if some of our other guys could kind of open the floor a little bit with making some open shots and not having so much pressure on him to get 30-plus points every night.
Coach, last year you called Illinois the hungry team post-game. How do you flip that tomorrow?
Yeah, I would hope at home, coming off 2 really tough road losses, kind of where we're sitting right now, 5 games into the league. I would hope that effort and hunger wasn't the reason why things went well or didn't go well for us. If we are not a team that's playing with a blue-collar desperation in this game, then we're not going to have a chance. And it would not be a good thing for us going forward. So I know our guys are going to fight. I know they're going to compete, just like they have in every game. I don't feel like there's been one game where we've laid down with effort. We just got to execute better. We've had a few too many breakdowns at the wrong times. And that's what sometimes it takes in the Big Ten. Every game you play is going to be pretty close, and you got to do the things necessary to win. But I'm confident in my group that they're going to be ready to fight tomorrow night and at least match the effort and intensity that Illinois is going to bring.
Coach, when you're talking about that fight and how much sense of urgency there is, how are you balancing that sense of urgency along with still playing smart basketball and not letting the heat of the moment?
Yeah, you have to. We say it all the time. It's playing hard should kind of be the standard, and effort and the things you're saying, that should be kind of what you do all the time. And then you have to couple that with smart basketball. You have to make sure offensively, are we getting the right shots? Are we managing the game? We say it all the time and score. Are we up? Do we making sure the right guys are getting the ball and playing off them in certain situations? Defensively, are we going to be at our best when it matters most in that last 5 to 8 minutes of the game, where you can't give up open layups, open dunks, silly fouls that give teams, free points at that time of the game. So we've kind of been, through the ringer with all those things that I mentioned, and hopefully with each game you learn. We are playing, some freshmen out there that's new for them, and that's where you got to really rely on older guys that have played in college basketball, that have been in some of these big games, to kind of help along the way. And I'm hoping, tomorrow will be a game where we can get in that same situation, and let's see if we've learned and can do the things necessary to pull out a win.
Coach, when you look at the development of Jake West, how much have you seen him grow from the start of the year to this point now?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. You look at him and he's kind of got the boyish looks and looks every bit of the part of a freshman, but he's tough. Jake is not afraid. He's competitive. He's tough. He wants to be out there. Feel like he's getting better with each game. There's no better experience at this level than actually being out there, in these environments, to play at Michigan State, to be at Rutgers, to be on the floor when it's coming down the wire. You're getting into overtime, and you got to really lock in. I'm hoping that with each game we'll continue to raise his confidence. We wouldn't have been in the position against Rutgers without his play. And, he's a big part of what we're trying to build, not only for this year, but the future. And I'm excited to see him continue to grow as the season goes on.
Coach, on the topic of freshmen, can you give any insight into why Cade didn't make the journey to Rutgers?
Yeah, no, Cade's been going through some health stuff. So, it just didn't make sense, for that trip. So we're trying to get him healthy. He hasn't been available for us. And feel like he's close to getting back to practice. But just with the travel and dealt with school and all those things, we just kept him home on that trip.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Nick, how do you guys get over the hump of those final moments of the game?
Yeah, I think it's just it's a lot of mental aspects of the game. Late in the game, not having mental lapses, and obviously the last 3-4 minutes, your body's the most tired. So, sometimes you just have to push through it mentally and tell yourself that you're not tired. And, I think we're right there, in so many of these games we're right there. And that's super motivating for us. Like, we're in here all thinking and knowing that we can go out there tomorrow and compete with a team that's top 10 in the country. We've done it. So I definitely think that, that's good. There's always, good, even though, we've lost 5 games, obviously, we're going to take away some of the good. And obviously there's been a ton of bad, losing 5 games, the way that we've lost them. But yeah, I think today's practice is going to be super important.
How do you personally keep this group from getting frustrated? Yourself getting frustrated, and maybe it's spiraling into negative? Because you guys have lost 5 straight games, all kind of tough fashion.
Yeah, I think just perspective. We're playing basketball. It's not like anything super serious. Obviously, we take this so serious, and it's not to take away, how much we've put into this. I've been here for 4 years. Some of us have been here for 4 years and put in a ton of work, but at the end of the day, no one's dying. So we're just getting to come out here and have fun and put ourselves to the test. We love to do this. There's a reason we're here every day. Like, I love, it doesn't matter how many games we lose in a row. I'm going to continue to come here with the same mindset and drive to, win the next one. Obviously, yeah, it's frustrating, especially right after the game when and you're up at night thinking about how you could have won, at Michigan State, at Rutgers, at home against Minnesota. But you know what, you just have to move on to the next one. It's not like, 2 days after this we're going to play Nebraska and then we're going to go to California and have to play a bunch more games. So, you have to have that mentality.
How do you stop the Illinois offense? They got a lot of height on that team.
Yeah, it's all effort. They have a lot of height, but we watched Nebraska, who's one of the smaller teams in the conference, and they battled their butts off, and that's why they won the game. It's going to be a big effort game for us.
What is the challenge, though, when they have so many guys that they put in the bucket? Like, probably 5 different guys you can put 20 points in any given time.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good teams in the conference, and yeah, they have a ton of talent, and it's going to be a lot of schematic things that we're going to need to shore up on defense. I think our defense has a lot to work on, but I think we're really starting to, figure things out. And I think, yeah, we're going to have to be completely dialed in on each of these guys. They're super talented. They're well coached. They're just a great team all around. But I don't think there's any reason that we shouldn't be in that game competing to win.
You talked about how your leadership style is a little bit different than Boo and Brooks. Can you talk about how it's different?
Yeah, I've never been the most outspoken person. I think that, I kind of just was quiet a little bit, on the court, off the court, me and these guys will joke around and we have really good friendships. But yeah, I think that's part of my youth at first when they were on the team. But, I think over the last couple of weeks, I've been super motivated to kind of change it because, things are hitting the fan now. It's my senior year and I'm looking at a team that's 8-7, 8-8, and we have to really dig ourselves out of a ditch in order to go to the tournament and reach the dreams, that we work so hard for.
Instead of looking at it differently, what can you do?
Yeah, just be more vocal and hold them to a higher standard. I've relied too much on the coaches and we have unbelievable coaches, but yeah, I've just relied on them too much. They have to hear another voice. They hear the coach's voice every day. They need to hear a lot more of my voice, and I need to be better in that aspect. And I just think that's awesome for me. It's such a good opportunity for me to be able to, help lead these guys. And yeah, hopefully, through that leadership that they'll start to pick up on more things and we can win some more games.
How much emphasis are you putting on kind of changing up your playing style each game to keep things kind of different and keep different teams on their toes?
Yeah, it's not me. It's the whole, it's the coach's game plan. So, they watch loads more film than I do, and I just trust exactly what they have to say. And, they usually put me in great positions to get the ball in the right spots and be able to score. So, yeah, credit to them for that.
Do you feel any sense of an extra element with an in-state rivalry game next up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we've obviously had a rivalry with Illinois since my freshman year, yeah, and it's something you take pride in. But at the same time, you can't, make it bigger than it is. At the end of the day, it's a conference basketball game, and we have to come and we have to be stable and we have to be solid and we have to be solid for 40 minutes.